There is a small island located 2,793 miles away from Australia. This is an island Queen Elizabeth herself has stepped foot on, but very few others have. Can you think of the name? That island is called Nauru. Nauru is the smallest island nation in the world, having no rivers or official capital. This country in Micronesia is home to beautiful coral reefs, white sand beaches, and tropical vegetation. The island is occupied by Micronesians and Polynesians who are divided into 12 tribes as represented by the 12-pointed star on the national flag. Though majority of the islanders speak English and more than 4/5 of Nauruans are Christians, more than half the total population is Protestant and 1/3 is Roman Catholic. The country was also previously referred to as Pleasant Island. Nauru has a population of 11,347 people and occupies about 1.8 square miles of land. This island is the least visited country in the world. Although people do not tour Nauru often, there is so much more to learn about its culture, society, government, and the people who inhabit it. Nauru was once the wealthiest state in the world, having the highest GDP during the 1980s. Sadly, as of 2017, it is now ranked amongst the poorest of nations. Nauru's economy once thrived off its phosphate mining, that being its primary resource and export. The phosphate quality was one of the richest and highest in the world. The phosphate industry and government services together provided almost all the island's salaried employment. Although mining was very beneficial for the government's economy, phosphate mining destroyed over 90% of the island, and a large percent of the island no longer has topsoil, the only fertile land being a coastal strip where coconuts grow. Now, 90% of the island is unemployed, therefore the government does not tax the citizens. Though, there are plans to rehabilitate the entire island, having an estimated cost of over $300 million, and is planned to take more than 20 years. Throughout the 1960s, there were ongoing discussions about moving the entire population of Nauru to an island off Queensland, Australia. Experts believed that Nauru would become uninhabitable by the mid-1980s. Threatened by the impact of climate change and devastated by phosphate mining, scientists believed that the landscape was so damaged, investing in the rebuilding of the island would be too costly, relocation being the only option. Being given the island's prosperity off phosphate mining, the population decided to stay. Another world-known feature about the island is that Nauru is the most obese country in the world. 88.5% of the population on the island is obese, having 1 out of every 10 people on the island diagnosed with diabetes. This drastically affects the expectancy of life on the island, 39.5 years for men and 48.5 years for women. This is one of the lowest in the world. Another interesting fact is, as of 2001, Nauru has imported asylum seekers from Australia to ensure they do not go bankrupt. It ensures that no person who arrives in Australia by boat seeking asylum is ever settled in Australia. Instead, they are sent to Nauru. They provide good transportation, having a railroad on the island and paved roads linking all its villages. There are no wharves or natural harbors. Passengers and cargo are shuttled by barges between ocean-going vessels and a small artificial anchorage. Nauru is part of the Commonwealth and the UN as of 1999. Basic services and education and health are provided free to all citizens. Those services have been reduced as a result of the country's changing economic features. They also have no social security nor income tax. Nauru has faced trials of ups and downs, at one time being the wealthiest country in the world to now being one of the poorest. Now, it is known for being the smallest, most obese, and least visited country in the world. I think there's so much more we can learn about the island if people visited and toured more often. Now, who wants to visit Nauru?